back on. But Greg, do you want to turn yours back on then?
You
Yeah,
think turn
get
it
that
back
sorted.
on?
Okay. Yeah. Then okay, so we'll just get into it now. Yep. Okay, cool. It's going to be a little laggy for the start, but hopefully it will. Good. Okay.
Stabilize.
Three.
Yeah.
Stable. It's going to be a bit laggy for the start.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe we are.
Awesome.
Yep. And I believe we are indeed now live. And you can't see me or Anna Maria for a little bit because just hope the stream and it will catch up in a bit. It is a bit like you are now, but it's great to have everyone here there, which is the main thing. And firstly, we have Frederick. Hello there.
Hello.
Great to have you. Then we also have Nikki.
My Govanen.
Great to have you there. As always, also we have Greg. If Greg,
That's your cue, Greg.
Everybody.
Yes, and then for the first time, and then also for the first time, we have Chase. Hello, my friend.
How's it going, guys?
Great to have you here. And then finally, we have us to the right, we've got a Henry Bolliman.
Hello.
And also, again, for the first time, you cannot see her right now, but we'll get that sorted in a bit. We have Anna Maria. Great to have you on. Hello there.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
Indeed, and it's great to have everybody on today. And I think the first thing is episode 4 is under 2 days away now. And I think the first thing from some of the pictures we saw was, I believe, Numenor seems to be a big focus. So Frederick, so the picture we have on screen right now is of Kemen and Pharazon. First of all, our first look at Kemen. What do you think?
As everyone, I'm really excited to see him and to see how he's going to be depicted. It's an interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting character for sure. I'm really excited to see. It's an Amazon original, so it's always a bit scary to see those characters because we don't know an awful a lot of them. But I'm interested and curious, and yeah.
Interested and curious seems to sum a lot of people's things at the minute. I think Chase, Numenor, I think we spoke about before a bit. So far from that last episode, what's your feeling around it so far?
I was actually blown away. I had been told by someone else to lower my expectations for Numenor, and I was like, oh no, I was so looking forward to seeing it. And then when I saw the episode, I was like, what are you talking about? This is amazing. And with regards to Kemen, from the pictures we see, and obviously we don't know a lot about him, I wonder if he's going to mirror the relationship between Elrond and Gil-galad as you know, his like advisor or something like that. But I'm excited to see how he fits into this puzzle.
Yeah, indeed, and I truly think that this, hopefully, maybe again in this episode, we'll be seeing a lot of the Numenor arc. And then I'll hand that over to you, Anna Maria. Pharazon, we've seen some stuff. He does look the part, doesn't he?
Pharazon looks incredible. I know y'all can't see me, but I'm very excited right now. Just believe it.
Yeah, you can turn it back on now, maybe. See, and
Okay,
it might
we'll
work.
see.
See.
Shows your
Oh,
face.
there she is.
Yeah.
Woo!
Whoa.
Now, as you will now continue.
Listen, the Numenorians, y'all, are my favorite. I actually withheld all opinions about the show until we got to episode 3. So I was like, Numenor will either make or break the show. The Numenorians are the heart of the thing. They're the crux of the thing. And so I was so excited about Pharazon. And I just want to see more of him. Like we got snippets of him. I think we saw more of Miriel, to be honest. I just want to see his internal struggle now, immediately. Throw it at me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also with Kemen as well. Like, I have a bad feeling I'm not gonna like him. I have a feeling he's a bit sneaky and a bit of a corruptionist that whispering in Pharazon's ear. but it remains to be seen. I just get that vibe from him a little bit like, ugh, I don't like you. And that's just from the pictures. So I apologize
Poor
in
Leon.
advance to the
Yeah.
actor. And I
Mm.
apologize in advance if I'm wrong, but that's the vibe.
Hmm. Yes, that is the vibe. But Henry, I think I'm going to pull up next. There is a chance that in this episode we might see the beginning. Is it Kiamian? How do you say it? Iari?
Earien, I think.
Yeah, but no, between Iari and maybe even Kemen. Maybe a bit of a
Oh.
love thing between those two.
I'm not sure, but I do think that he's going to be the reason, well, I believe, assuming she does, the reason she strays away from the side of Elendil and Sildur. I feel like, because there's already, you can kind of already see there's a difference in the relationship that she has with them, but I feel like he might be that pushing factor, be like, oh, come over here, we're doing things better.
Again, I agree. And I think, Nikki, you spoke about being excited for Kemen. So do you think we will go with few of the pictures here we got beforehand revolves around him? So I do think that will be an important aspect.
Oh, absolutely. They have to start getting into that now. Like they have to start establishing the whole storyline here and where they're actually going with this because now they have established so much in such a short amount of time and still it feels like it's been forever. So we need to start seeing some action, start seeing some unrest, start seeing what is going on in Numenor at this time. It worries me that one picture of him and is her name is it Kearian like Emma Horvath's character? Because it looks like he's trying to influence her in a bad way, and I like her. I don't want her to go astray, as you can say. I want her to stay on the elven side, but who knows? She might not. He might like it might be like one of those things where he tries to manipulate her because he has some power over her, he has something on her, or maybe she likes him, maybe she wants to date him, maybe he threatens something and then she like appears to be taking his side because she feels like she has. I mean, who knows? Like these two characters are Amazon originals, so it's going to be an interesting storyline where they can actually play around a little bit without messing around too much with the actual canon characters. So, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, looking at that photo and some of the in the event, like I'm trying not to speculate too much on whether or not he's good or bad, but we know that Emma's character at some point sees Isildur marching off to look like he's going to war to battle, and she's very unhappy about it. This could be her watching the beginning of that, and it seems like if she ends up going the other way, I imagine she's gonna double down on her dislike of the elves because I'm assuming she's gonna, say that it's Galadriel's fault since Galadriel's gonna be the catalyst for these guys going to Middle Earth. That she blames her for putting her brother in danger. And maybe, if we're right, Kemen in this moment is whispering, sowing those little seeds of doubt in her of like, oh, look what's happened. One elf shows up, and look at us now. We're going to war after years of peace. So that could be it. But again, it's one photo, and we've seen this show has been amazing at misdirection.
Indeed. And I just think from the next one I am going to actually get up is we're actually seeing Miriel and Galadriel standing together. So does anybody want to speculate on this? Could be Frederick. Do you potentially see what's happening here?
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised, or not surprised. I'm getting why she isn't openly supporting the faithful path, if you would say. But I think this will be a moment where she declares her faithful side, so to speak, with Elendil, because of course we know that he is one of the faithfuls. And I actually think when Miriel talked to Elendil earlier and gave him the sword, I think she declared some of this to him. So I think this will be a part where she declares to Galadriel and Elendil, her side.
See, I totally disagree. I think it's too early for Miriel to show her hand. I think she's going to be sneakier. I don't know.
Might be. So
I'm excited to see her conversation that started right when the episode ended of her going to talk to her dad. So I think that's gonna be cool, and that might be telling as to when and how she's gonna proceed. He might tell her, look, play this close to the chest. Don't let them know. You know what I mean? What you really think. Try to play the other side a bit, but we won't know until tomorrow night for us here in California. So.
I mean, we don't really know as well how. Sorry, Gregory. We don't really know how far along or how bad it actually is in Numenor yet. That's what I wanted to say. Like, we don't know. So
I mean,
it might not be a problem yet, but who knows? Go on, Gregory.
Yeah, if we're gonna get meta about this, right? I mean, who knows how closely they follow, but theoretically, right? Like, they need to, if their seasons to Middle Earth with a fleet headed by Pharazon, then defeat Sauron, then Sauron comes back, right? All this stuff. So based on just how much time that could take, I wouldn't be surprised if Miriel gets convinced that that's a real threat in the Southlands sooner rather than later, because there's just a whole lot of time to cover. So I do see her having some sway with her in this coming episode based on what they discovered in episode 3.
Do you think we're going to see the Palantir in this episode?
Yeah.
Anybody? You think so?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
mean,
don't know.
I'm excited to see that because this will be the only time outside of the films and Shadow of War that we the game that we get to see one of those. So
Use of it.
I do think though that it will be near the end of the episode and we won't get it much.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't see it being that prominent this early, but for some reason I just get the feeling that it will be introduced.
I have a question though. Do you guys think that we are at this point in time, because I haven't decided yet, but so they will eventually, like, there will be a lot of stuff happening in this season, and Galadriel will convince the whole arch, or do you think Sauron is already sort of in Numenor or on his way, or like, are we past that, or is that still happening? I don't know. I feel like there's so much up in the air here. I don't know. I don't even know 100% where we exactly are because of the time compression. So
my heart says that he's not in Numenor, but my head says he is, and I'm not sure how to feel about it.
Yeah, because we're waiting into like Halbrand identity territory.
Yeah.
So,
my heart says he's there, but my head says he's not. Mine's the opposite.
Oh.
I feel like he's there, but my logical side is like, all right, if I got to take everything at face value, he's not there. But
see, I don't want Halbrand to be Sauron, so my heart is like, no, he's not there yet.
I'm not
ready for that. I like him as a hero, like a cranky hero, but a hero.
I guess, I mean, lore aside, cinematically or like in a storytelling way, I would love them to subvert our expectations of the reluctant hero and have him do the opposite of, like, say, the Han Solo thing, where Han Solo at the end of Star Wars is like, I'm just in this for the money, kid, peace out. But then he shows up at the end and saves the day. I would love for him to just be like, I am what I always said I was, and if you just listen to me, you'd know I'm not a hero, and I'm never coming to. I'm gonna do what's best for me, and that would be. I know that would probably make some people mad, but I would like it just because we've seen that trope, the other tropes, so many times, that seeing someone actually just be like, nah, man, I am what I am. It would be so interesting, and I think would also create more conflict.
especially
That would
since
also. Oh, go ahead.
you go.
Go ahead.
You
Go
go.
ahead.
Oh.
I was like, that would also make room for him to maybe be, I don't know, the king of the dead. I mean, a betrayal would set up
Totally.
that quite nicely.
And I think that the payoff for that would be so much more satisfying because we see Galadriel
Mm.
going through this, and you know the people she loves and trusts the most are mostly dead, or in the case of Elrond, she trusts him, but he kind of dicked her over in that first episode by showing the sigil and being like, "Sorry, you got to get on that boat, bye." But but it would be it would add to this thing of, you know, I know some people are not pleased with angry Galadriel, but I think that if we really look at her history given by the show, she has every reason to be on a hellbent quest. And also we think of, like, everyone's like, oh, well, she's spending so many episodes being angry. Keep in mind, she's an elf. She lives forever. This 3 episodes for us, it's a blink in her eyes. You know what I mean? This is a weekend of being in a bad mood in the timeline that she will, you know, exist in. So I'm team angry Galadriel because I'm like, she's on a mission, and if you dedicated yourself to this cause, you're not gonna come off the path that easily.
Yeah, I agree with the angry Galadriel. Like, the only thing that I question about her anger is how uncomposed she is, if that's even a word. Like, she's
No, totally.
like,
She
she
has
wants
no
to get
tact.
her
She's
shit-
all
yeah.
just like which I think gives her character room to grow, because obviously if this is one day going to become the Kate Blanchett Galadriel, she's got to have some place to go, and I wouldn't want her to get there in 3 episodes of season 1. You know, we might see her go through many phases, or maybe she's going to be angry until season 5. But I think I'm just saying, as of right now, I feel like there's nothing I've seen for her to be anything but angry. I'd be angry.
Yeah.
And yeah, and in terms of her learning, I think she's going to have to take some cues from other people around her, Halbrand, Elrond, and if we're going to get to like our world politics, she's a woman surrounded by a bunch of dudes telling her, you need to calm down. You need to calm down, which, as we all know, is
Doesn't work.
something that doesn't, not only does it not work, but it's not helpful. And
No.
guys from this chat, if you ever have the urge to tell a woman to calm down, maybe take a second, pump the brakes, and see if you really need to say that, because you're probably wrong.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm getting from the show right now, is everyone's like, calm down, Galadriel, calm down, and she's just like, stop telling me to calm down, especially because we all know she's right. Sauron he's back, and he's messing stuff up. So it's like, you know, it's like being stuck in that horrible dream where you know something and no one else believes you, and you're like going insane.
I'm gonna read Rex, provided that my
Here,
internet's not breaking up anymore.
How do I
Someone just let me know if
stop
it is.
my camera? Sorry, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm gonna read Rex and say that based on the stills that we have, I'm really stoked to get to see more scenes of Khazad-dum.
Yes.
Because you know, we really didn't get to see any of that in the last episode, and although I actually really enjoyed, I think the 3rd episode was probably my favorite so far.
Oh yeah.
I still felt like a keen absence of, you know, what was going on over there. So what do you guys think is going to happen next in that plotline?
For me, I mean, obviously, you know, like, we think they discovered Mithril, and there's this like lovely Celebrimbor plotline going. But what I want from Khazad-dum is, I want more of the dwarves' interactions with Elrond, because for me, I think Robert Armeo is doing a fantastic job, and he's so compelling as Elrond. But we've seen so much of the politician version of Elrond thus far, and only like brief spurts of like his love and his affection.
And
I mean, we saw him as a speech. Exactly. We saw him as the speechwriter. We saw him kind of scheming a little bit with Gil-galad. We saw him scheming a little bit with Celebrimbor. And then there was this moment of heart with Durin and Disa. And I need more of that. Like, I need more of that side of Elrond.
Yes, I love
for me
those
as a viewer.
100%
Yes,
agree.
please, more.
I think with Elrond, do you think we were going to see him in the next few episodes stay in Khazad-dum quite a bit until that dinner scene that's going to happen at some point. What do you guys think?
I think so. I think he has to do some work to repair the friendship. I think he has to like stick around and be present. I think.
He also probably needs to wait until the prince convinces the king to do this. Which is also going to be a challenge, probably.
That's the thing. I want to see more Durin 3, Durin 4 relationships, because there's clearly something there that can be really interesting. It's just we haven't had more than a moment.
And I think we are going to get more of that because we have still with Disa and Elrond 2 alone. So I think they will get some screen time alone to just like, talk about the past and everything. Maybe we get the full backstory with Elrond and Durin, how they get to know each other and stuff. So I think
good.
That will be good. That will be good.
Love Sophia. She's fantastic. Like the little we've seen of her now, I can't wait to see more.
What we've seen, what about Gil-galad? We haven't seen him in any of these pictures so far.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that in the second this panel, the second time, that we see that Gil-galad he knows about the danger now because that leaf falling and the poisonous stuff on the backside of that leaf. So how he will react, that's the main thing with him right now, I think.
I don't think we'll see him at all this episode.
They're doing that. Like, they're not trying to spread themselves too thin, like butter spread over too much bread, you know. They're trying to be a little bit careful with how many storylines they force into one episode, which I appreciate, because although we do have limited time in this season, we still have a lot of seasons to go, and if it's too much happening, then you're left feeling like nothing actually happened in the episode. So they need to push things forward.
Also, based on these photos, Arondir is going to escape, which I think we talked about right before the stream. I'm very curious to know how he gets out, or does Adar let him go?
I think the latter.
No, don't say that. I don't like that.
Oh, I think he might. I think that, and I don't know if we're ready to pivot to that discussion, but I'm very excited to see him this episode. If we get to see him.
Yeah. I imagine if we don't.
I would really love to see that. Maybe, everyone's like, oh, he's bad guy, but maybe he's got, the whole argument about Tolkien being, very black and white about his good versus evil. This could be the time where we see that gray area where he's just like, this is a guy who has his reasons and maybe he goes about them in a way that is unsavory, but maybe he has a good motive, so to speak. That's my 2 cents.
And he has the sword on him as well. Did anyone notice that?
Oh yeah.
That means at some point Theo's going to give it to Arondir.
No, don't say stuff like this. I don't like this. I do not like this at all. Like, no, I don't want to see that.
Well, he's got it in his hand. Is she in the picture?
Yes, which means that I don't like this at all. Nope.
Well, we've noticed that the sword seems to respond to him. We've never seen anyone else hold it. I wonder if that means that Theo has a connection. Also, the blood. I had a question for you guys, actually. I think it's either the first or the second episode where we see Ian Blackburn's character try to grab the sword from Theo, and it looks like he cuts himself. Is it second episode? But we don't see any actual blood. He just makes a motion as if it's cut him, and then Theo's holding it, and he sees the brand, kick in. But when Theo's got blood on himself, and it actually goes and connects with the sword, I wonder if there's any significance to the sword only responds to blood. Like, Celebrimbor's great line, true works of creation require sacrifice. I wonder if this is a sword that's like, you got to give some to get some kind of thing.
Theo is Sauron.
Look, dude, at this point, everyone is Sauron, but Sauron.
Harfoots are Sauron is Melkor.
But Sauron's going to show up like, I'm Sauron, and everyone's like, you're not Sauron.
I hate to say it, but I think Bronwyn might be Sauron now that I think about it. to be
It-
honest, it's lining
She's
up.
the Witch Queen.
The
That's
Witch
the other
Queen.
thing.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
okay,
Why she
Obviously.
they're
can't be
doing like a
killed by
gender swap.
man. She can only be killed by another woman.
Mm-hmm. But
Ooh.
I'm the
indeed,
Witch King. No.
but
We're all the Witch King.
mm-hmm. Well, actually, we could all be the Nazgul if actually how many of us? There's 7 of us. So we need 2
Yeah,
more.
we could.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll put out a casting
Okay.
call.
I,
We need
I
two
call
more
the one that
members.
gets hit in the face with the torch and jumps off at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm. But Anna Maria, what do you think? Do you think this sword would play a bigger like part in this episode?
It's a difficult question because it's like how many. The real bigger question is how quickly are we going to unravel these mysteries, and the identity of Theo's father and the identity of Theo and like the blade that reverse disintegrated in a way that the Morgul in the way that the Morgul blades disintegrated in the original trilogy. You know, it's like they've been teasing the sword in all of the imagery. Like even at Comic-Con, the sword was the ID passes. Like this, the recurring imagery of the sword and the symbol of the sword feels like it's been hyped so much that I don't think we're going to find out a lot more about the sword in this episode. But I do think that Theo might wield it in this episode.
Ooh,
That's my hunch.
wield it. Maybe
Ooh.
that. Maybe who will he be wielding it against? And I think,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And I think I'll extend this on to you, Henry.
Mhm.
Do you think we will see Adar fully this time, finally? Not blood, nothing like that, just straight up.
I feel like it would be so rude if they set us up and then didn't until the next episode after. Like they have to. I don't know if it will be immediately. I think we might be either in Numenor or even with the dwarves first, but we will fairly, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes in, I think we'll get a good chunk of the Elrond and Adar scenes.
Mhm.
Most likely, because if he escaped somehow or were let go, we have to see Adar.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
But then, if we're going to be seeing that, will we be seeing a lot of the Celebrimbor storyline? If we're going to be focusing on that a lot, I think I'll extend this on to Frederick whilst I get Gregory back in here.
I mean, if they're focusing on Khazad-dum, we get to see Numenor, we got to see Arondir storyline. It will. I mean, if they don't include the Harfoots this episode, we might see another storyline for that part, because I think so far we're seeing three or 4 storylines every episode, and I think that leaves some room to Celebrimbor storyline. And I'm really, I actually don't know why he would. I don't think we have spoken about this, but why do we need a forge to be ready for spring? Was it spring? That's
It
interesting.
was spring. It was spring,
Mm.
and I also have been a little thrown off by that because that seems like a very mortal deadline. They're like, oh, gotta have it in by spring. That seems like a very human, mortal sensibility to apply to an aging being. You know what I mean? So what's the real deal here?
Maybe he's got
think
some elven shareholders that are like, look, you need to start producing stuff by spring. These are your quarterly deadlines, Celebrimbor. We need you producing. Look, man, there's a supply chain shortage even at Region. It's bad.
Oh,
the
no.
pandemic really did affect
Cinderella,
all of
you know?
us.
Tolkien's rolling in his grave.
Period.
But I just think, yeah, someone maybe behind the scenes there is the current, is the current tag at the minute around that. But I think this is, I believe, Gregory, you are back in now. But one thing, we've talked about everything except from, of course, the Jolly Harfoots. We haven't seen many pictures. Do you think they might even be in this episode? Because we have seen a lot of them so far.
I think that if there's an episode, I mean, we got kind of like a cathartic moment at the end of episode 3. So if there's going to be an episode where we ditch the Harfoots for a bit, I think this would be the one. But then again, we might get something with them just because the storyline with the stranger, I think, is going to be so important. You know, it's hard to know exactly where that's going. So many theories out there, but it is going to be integral. So, you know, if we do see them, they're not going to be the focus. But I would say that this is likely an episode where we do skip them, I think.
And Anna Maria, what have you thought of the where do you think we might be going with the stranger? Do you think we're close to the revelation of who he is yet, or are we still waiting on that?
I'm afraid we are quite close to the revelation. I say I'm afraid because I don't know. It's getting almost heavy-handed at this point, like him being Gandalf, which I hope he isn't. But yeah, I think at the very least we're gonna get like 2 very prominent, solid clues as to his identity in this coming episode. And like the Harfoots will still have no idea what's going on. But yeah, I think we're just around the corner for that particular debate to be settled.
And what a debate that is going to be, probably one of the biggest, minus all the Sauron stuff. And I think, actually, I shouldn't say that. That's actually quite a sneaky segue, so I'm not going to do that. But talking about other stuff we haven't seen, who are Galadriel, she's like the main character, and we haven't spoken about her yet. Do you think? I think same with the Harpers. Do you think we're at a point right now where, with Galadriel, we kind of understand her motivations and just going to play out for the rest of the season? Of course, we spent a lot of time with her. Do you think this is the episode where we start to step back a bit, or do you think she's still going to be prime center? Nikki, what do you think?
Well,
sorry if you were eating. I was at the wrong time.
I'm having like Norwegian chocolate, guys.
Oh,
it's the best
thank you
chocolate
for that.
in the world.
It was
Better
really
than
tasty.
Swedish.
No, I'm saying it was really tasty. Really, very nice.
I will forever say that. No, she was always going to be one of the main characters, at least for season 1. I think there is going to be a lot of focus on her and her journey in season 1. I don't know if we're going to keep having the same focus during the next seasons. Maybe they'll focus on someone else for the season after. She'll still be there, but she won't be like the one that we see the most of. But I think for this season, she is one of the main ones that you're going to see a lot of.
And I think, Chase, you're on, I think, fair enough, we were on the side of it's fine to get into Galadriel. Do you think, where do you see her character going within these next few episodes? I do believe it is interlinked with Miriel. Is it safe to say?
For sure. I think that she is going to become a little more hopeful. She's gotten some help from Elendil. I think she's going to, obviously we know based on the trailer, she's going to convince Halbrand to come back to Middle Earth with her, unless there's those scenes of him galloping on a horse or still in Numenor, but I doubt it. I think she's gonna get what she wants, which is the army to go and seek out Sauron, and I think that's gonna be good. I think we're gonna see her go from a very angry person to person who has some companions and some people that trust her. What I'm curious about, because I believe that Morpheth said this in an interview, that the armor that we see her wearing, the plate mail, is given to her. Do we think that Halbrand makes that armor for her, since he's really itching to get onto that forge? I'm very curious to know who gives her that armor, or is it gifted to her from Miriel? But it's very elven in its design. It has the star and everything. So as far as where we see her the next few episodes, I want to know where she gets that armor.
Suggesting that Halbrand is the Lord of Gifts.
Maybe not a lord, but maybe like a cousin of gifts, or a duke of gifts. You know, he's just. But he's
a guy with presence.
I don't know if I would just accept a random armor given to me by some random person I met on a raft.
I mean, they've been through a lot together. He's not really a random guy.
Well,
she obviously thinks of him as
creepy.
being the king of the Southlands. Listen,
Yeah,
I don't know you guys. If someone gifted me armor, I'd take it.
I think the armor could be coming through Elendil.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because-
Totally.
That's what I think. That's what I think. Like
I'd be happier
the
with
way
that.
that they've
Mm.
preserved.
Mhm.
Yeah, the way they've preserved their relationship with Valinor and everything, and like they've kept the old ways and the language.
Kept the
like,
records as well, so
I
they
think,
might have kept armor.
exactly. I think it's on the it comes from the western shore of
So
Numenor.
my question is this: do we think that armor has history and belonged to a significant elf before her? Because that would be cool.
That would
be cool. Yeah, and it's like reworked to fit her.
Yeah.
Yeah. This ironically, one of your brothers was the exact same size.
Oh, no.
He's got this on.
You know, you elves are all the same
It was
size.
a different
it's
elf,
okay.
Carl, the rarely late. He belonged to him.
Well, what I think might happen is that because Miriel is going to try and keep being sneaky for a little bit, they might like bring Galadriel in and Elendil and try to do this behind everyone's backs because they don't like she's afraid of angering the people. They might be like, all right, we're going to dust off some of these old elvish things that we have in this museum. We'll sneak out a bunch of people on a boat and you guys just quickly go and do this without anyone knowing, hopefully. You know, and then Isildur's going with them because obviously friendship and need to build up stuff, and then people find out and people get angry and shit go down. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
we see them get paraded to the streets though, don't we? And as we've learned from actual life, nothing unites a group of people like war. And so it just is. It's one of those things. But I wonder if Pharazon uses this like while Miriel's gone to get control of the people while she's away. Like he's like, yeah, go to war. That'd be a great idea. Go, leave. And then while she's gone, he's just like, can you believe she just kind of pieced out on all of us? And then that's where he starts to put his hold on the on Numenor. But again, just that's speculation.
Unless they change the lore, right? He basically forces her to marry him somehow, and that's how he takes the throne. So, I guess that's not mutually exclusive with what you said, but I just imagine likely it's probably going to unfold a different way, and there's going to be some pretty brutal scenes where we see his true character,
Well, and there is the possibility if they went like the super bold route, because like in an alternate draft, Tolkien did have Miriel actually fall in love with Pharazon and marry him willingly. That wasn't his finalized storyline, obviously, but there is like the slight possibility they're going to go the super spicy route.
Do we think they could
regard.
already have a relationship kind of under wraps?
She seems to be trusting him a little too much. Like she looked to him when she was trying to figure out what people wanted. She kind of it felt like she was already leaning on him. So either she's already with him or he's her trusted advisor or like something.
Yeah.
But then she addressed her father. That's the way she addressed her father. I do think she's playing the long game here, but they could throw a curveball.
Speaking of that, do we think we'll see Palantir?
I hope so.
We're gonna see the Palantir. I think that's gonna be in the same thing. Like maybe the Palantir is with him. Maybe that's how she communicates with her dad. Maybe they have one each.
I think we have to see him and Adar. I mean, if shows. I mean, I've had shows disappoint me in the past. You get set up with some idea like, oh god, they left on this cliffhanger, and then they abandon that thing for the next episode, and then it's the other episode after that where they bring that back. But I really hope we see both Adar and him. If we get both of those in this episode, I will be so happy.
Yeah.
Because episode 3 was so good, like on so many levels. And again, I think most people agree here, our favorite episode so far. Yeah. Okay, so I think that means it's a strong setup for episode 4 to be just as good, if not better. And hopefully we get some answers from that.
And that with a show that does have Me Too Man and stuff like that, what happens if Palantir is the Palantir? You think the showrunners would do that?
Wait, like Palantir, the character?
Yeah, just a Palantir.
is an abstraction of the object.
They turn me into Palantir. Funniest thing I've ever seen.
Palantir. That's Amaz. That's why we never saw him in the last episode.
Ugh.
Oh.
You know what? That would be so galaxy brain that I would be on board. I'd be like,
That's it,
sure.
Yeah.
Of course,
Absolutely.
I'm joking. Of course, so continue.
Back to your mention, Meteor Man. We've talked about predictions for whether or not he'll be in the. We'll see the Harfoots in the episode, but just based on where things currently are, where do you guys? What do you think? Who do you think he is? Is he a complete Amazon fabrication, or is he a character we've seen before? Obviously, there are a bunch of theories flying around, but what do you guys personally think?
The thing is, although I don't want him to be Gandalf, I love him as Gandalf. I love the idea, and I hate it at the same time because the character itself, I can feel is Gandalf. Like just how he behaves and how he's developing. And I like that art for him, but I don't like it as well because it's not right. He shouldn't be there. It's wrong. So I love it and I hate it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, like every sign, like we've gotten so many signs at this point with the fire and the fireflies and the grizzled hair and the gray robes and the shot of him holding the harp in his hand and the G scratched into the it's just like
backwards G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is he an anti-Gandalf or something else?
He's Sauron.
Yeah.
He's Sauron.
I mean, I would take that too. I really feel like they are leaning hard into misdirection because you don't. They've dropped too many clues that it would be so obvious that he's Gandalf. And look, they could just be like, no, but he really is just Gandalf. But it feels like there's something eerie, and I feel like Bear McCreary's score, much like Howard Shore's in the movies, is so influential as to like hints at what's going on thematically. And when he's on screen, that music is sometimes really nice, and then it gets eerie, and then it gets dark.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a little foreshadowing of like, and look, the way he arrived in that Eye of Sauron like looking thing, I feel like that's their way of hinting at us that like, now having said that, the famous Tolkien quote of, the enemy, what would look fairer and feel fouler. I feel like maybe that's what they're playing into, but it really seems like he is something not good.
You know what?
The thing explodes and then goes back in. It kind of looks like the sigil as well if you look really close. So it's
A little bit.
Yeah, there are so many conflicting feelings about this, and I don't know yet.
He's a Balrog.
Well,
he's a Balrog.
There
He'll turn into a Balrog. He's a
hear
weird
me
Balrog.
out. Hear me out. I've told this theory to a lot of people. Has everyone here ever heard of the American cartoon movie, The Iron Giant?
Yeah,
Yes.
The showrunners even mentioned it.
Love it.
So I was gonna say, so that is very much the feeling I'm getting from this. Big powerful creature falls from the sky, can't remember anything, befriends a small child. They think they're buddies, and then as soon as that person remembers what they are and what they're here for, things get very bad. And so I feel like we're gonna see something like that with this. So that's again a theory.
You know what I do think though, is that I think we're going to have to suffer at least to the end of season 2 before we'll find out who they are.
I 100% agree that we will not find out this season a definite answer as to who the Meteor Man or Stranger is. I agree.
I just don't see it. I don't know why, but I just feel like a big end of season 2 thing will be maybe not like the end, but like towards season like episode 7 or 8 or however many episodes there are. We'll only find out then, and I don't know why, but yeah.
What if we don't find out at all this season?
I don't think we will know. Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying season 2. That's far. Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, maybe they'll just like go through all the stages of like, and now we're gonna make you think he's a wizard, and now we're gonna make you think like they'll just yank us along.
Do you think an early problem about that is that if you make it so long, and then once you actually do get to the payoff, is like, oh, okay, thank God, as opposed to I finally know who he is after so long.
That would kind of be like the ending of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
it's like,
kind of.
Oh, that's it.
I mean, I'll say that I don't mind. I was always against the idea that being Gandalf because of the idea that it breaks lore, and also it just seems so obvious. But the way that they have been building it, as Nikki was sort of pointing out, I actually wouldn't mind it as much if it did end up being, because they've taken their time with it and they've done it in a nice way. And also, if you look closely, there is literature that suggests that Elrond did come to Middle-earth in the Second Age, perhaps, not as Gandalf. So it
Gandalf before he leveled up the first time, because he leveled up,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if they do it that way, then it would make sense that they don't need to do a big reveal, and it won't need to be a big reveal, and they can take their time until the end of the second season. If it ends up being, say, like Blue Wizard or something, then maybe it makes sense to reveal. I don't know. I think there are plenty of ways.
I agree.
It
This
makes
is
sense to not reveal
Gandalf
it
the
until
Unbathed, and then Gandalf the Grey, and then Gandalf the White. Like those are the stages of Gandalf. Yeah. But I think I agree. As much as I love and want them to stick so much to the lore, I think what Greg said, they've obviously put a lot of care into this character, and they're really taking their time with it. That I wouldn't be upset. Look, Tolkien himself rewrote these things again and again and again. So I really do feel like if they go that way, if they're careful with it, which it seems like they're trying to be, and it's done well, I'm totally fine with him turning out to be that. I feel like it's too easy to make him that, whereas the interesting choice is to take us somewhere else, whether it's a Blue Wizard or Sauron or a Balrog or something else.
Yeah.
And I think this is what we're on to now, is like seasons of predictions. But I think here's an interesting question. From the last 3 episodes, we know Amazon do like their cliffhangers. I know we've seen the trend, so does anybody have an idea what we might get as a cliffhanger for this episode?
Let's see, because what have the last 3 cliffhangers been? Because I just rewatched all 3 in succession. So
Meet Your Man Landing was the first one.
So Harfoots.
Yeah, Harfoots. Second one, does anybody want to help me?
It was
Mithril.
And Numenor announcement.
Yeah, and it was the entrance to Numenor.
Yeah, entrance to Numenor. And the third one is Adar. So
Mithril. That's what I think.
That was 2, either 2, maybe.
Okay, so we've had a cliffhanger with the Harfoots. We've had a cliffhanger in Khazad-dum, and we've had a cliffhanger in
on the sea, just outside Numenor.
On the sea.
Yeah.
So we're due for a real cliffhanger in Numenor, I think. Or in the Southlands.
Do we not think the cliffhanger in Numenor
Adar
was Palantir?
Oh no, Adar. Okay.
Finally see Sauron.
Ooh,
Not seen him. I refuse to believe we've seen him. Cannot.
I mean,
Probably. What's that actor's name that we were all joking around about in the early stages that was going to be part of this? The Irish one.
Irish?
Isn't he Irish? Is he
Irish?
There were rumors ages ago that
Oh, wait,
Russell Crowe
no,
was in
is
it, but he's Australian.
Russell Crowe is Sauron.
Or I guess he's technically
Russell Crowe is Sauron. Okay.
And then anyway, but yeah, he's Zeus. So I think
And Sauron.
and Sauron. Sauron.
Sauron.
No, I think
Zaddy Sauron.
No, I think the end of episode 4. The end of episode 4 is it'll oh my god! Of course, there's a siren the second I start talking. I'm so sorry. I think
Sauron,
the end of
police.
episode 4.
We're onto it.
Sexy
I
Sauron.
think it'll show us like a snippet of some real Numenorian intrigue, and then it'll just black out. It'll just the beginnings of something really shady in Numenor, and then it'll cut. I think that'll be the cliffhanger.
If it is something shady in Numenor, it's Pharazon setting up something. 100%.
We'll see
100%.
we'll see like his back. He's talking to someone we can't see in the shadows, and it'll be like blackout.
That's Sauron. Russell Crowe.
Mhm.
Boom.
But
Or yeah.
no, you go ahead first.
No, it's basically, or instead of him looking away from the camera, he's looking towards the camera, talking to someone, and you don't see who he's talking to necessarily.
That'd be an interesting way to do it.
I've got a little prediction, not a for the end necessarily, but I think this is going to be the episode where we see Deeza singing to the
Ooh,
stone.
yeah, maybe.
Yes.
Oh, we deserve that after an episode with no dwarves. We deserve that.
The same
Yeah.
neither.
But I'd hope it's not after a potential death. That is all I'm
Yeah.
hoping. If maybe doing the third, might.
Oh no.
They might put on a show for Elrond, and that's why he's singing.
Well, I
Not
hope
like
this
that.
episode
No.
we see
No.
the resonating. Is that what it's called? Or
Yeah,
Yeah, resonating. Yeah.
I hope
yeah.
we see that this
She was
episode.
telling a story. She was telling a story about that last time we saw them, and I feel like maybe she's doing it to show Elrond what happens and how it's done, and they take him to
Mhm.
experience it. I
They
guess.
take him down the mines
Yeah.
like the
For a show.
Actually,
like the
this
naughty
was-
boy is.
This was actually the segue. Frederick, what happens
off.
if the cliffhanger is the Balrog?
Isn't that a bit early?
Yeah.
Never know.
That's
Yes.
way
I
too
think
soon. They can't do that.
Well, they showed it in the trailer, so I don't think anything's off limits.
Yeah, but I think that will occur much later, hopefully. But I mean, the thing that you talked about with these and the singing part, I don't remember the name. Can someone?
Resonating.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be a good possibility that we see a lot of Disa and Elrond moments where during the fort is the prince and the king is getting to know, or we get that storyline. So I think that
yeah.
Disa will somewhat show him off, and we'll see a lot of things in Khazad-dum where she's sort of a guide, I think, where she tells different stories and parts.
And Ryan says in chat, the episode 4 trailer showed Eronde, Theo, and Bronwyn running away from orcs in the forest. That might be a cliffhanger. That would be,
the arrow catch. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
That could be. I mean, obviously they're not opposed to doing cliffhangers for multiple sections in an episode. We got the showing of Elendil's shadow in that one episode, and then what was the other cliffhanger in that episode? There was another bit. Was it the?
It was the mithril.
Yeah.
It was the mithril.
So I wonder if they go that route and we get multiple or same thing like this last one we got Adar and we got Tar Palantir with the cliffhanger for Numenor, so that's totally possible that we get that.
What it does seem to me is that when they do have the cliffhangers, they're almost not immediately, but they're fairly quickly revealed in the next episode. Which is why I think we'll see someone like Palantir, because I just get the feeling that while they like the cliffhangers, they don't do the longer form ones. They do the fairly short term.
Yeah.
Except for the mithril, we've never gone back to that, which is
True,
interesting.
true.
But again, that's one in like 4 examples.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see like. I don't know about this Balrog that they put in the trailer even. Like, I feel like if they haven't even started making the rings and they haven't found the mithril, like, or they have found it, but they haven't, like, fully started excavating it or anything like that. Isn't it too soon to destroy an entire dwarven kingdom that they've just started building? When they're small pieces?
Canonically, yeah.
It makes zero sense. Where are they going to go?
I also think that like one of the themes of the show is that like everybody thinks they're in a time of peace and there are just like rumblings right now. And so like the orcs were the first bit of proof we got that there is something terribly wrong. And I think like that will need to be paced out so that the insidiousness and the darkness has a real sense of growing before we're just thrown like a bunch of villains are thrown at us.
And I think, and Maria, you said that if the Meteor Man is a Balrog, maybe could
this Balrog be Meteor Man?
Well, because we get that like that really fascinating thing of the Maiar, like some are like Istari and some, go like the complete other route. And like that would be really interesting. I never really considered seeing an actual arc of like that kind of corruption for a Balrog, but it's there. It's there to play with.
I don't think the Balrog necessarily have to be in Khazad-dum because the Khazad-dum Balrog is the
Durin's Bane?
Durin's Bane, exactly. So I don't think the Balrog is connected to him.
No.
Or that's the same Balrog. So I don't think we will going to see a Balrog in Khazad-dum, because if a Balrog would be in Khazad-dum, he would destroy Khazad-dum. And
that he's looking for be some sort of hint, like the things that he keeps trying to say, like, because I was trying to look at them and I'm like, what? Is it hinting at something? Are they shaped like something? Is there something behind that? Like, why? Is there a reason? Like, would Gandalf, would Balrog, would Sauron, would Morgoth, would any of them be chasing something that, we could somehow connect to those stars? Because he desperately wants to go somewhere, but where?
yeah, and Sadok did write these stars down also, if it's the same stars. Yeah.
So my question is, with the stars, maybe those stars only show and align in the spring.
Interesting. Well, I saw an interesting theory somewhere, I don't know where, but like there were 5 shots of a meteor, and so there's a possibility we're being misdirected and that there was only one being that fell. And so I'm wondering if the stars are a location in which the 5 beings could converge and meet. That's what
Maybe that is all so cool. Wizards. I love the idea of there being multiple. Sorry, I was saying that is. I've never even thought of that, and I have no idea if that's true. But that would be chef's kiss, the coolest misdirection ever. That was
because why would all of them in the different areas see the exact same meteorite? Like, I mean, I can look up and I'll see a fallen star, and someone in the US will probably not see the same one. Like, it's not the same sky. The Orion's belt is on different parts of the sky for everyone in the world, so that makes sense. What if it's all of wizards? Yeah,
5 is a pretty auspicious number for the Astari. So maybe.
What if they're all Balrogs though?
Oh, wow, that would be.
Middle Earth would be in deep shit.
And they're all meeting up for this epic Balrog party.
Well, because we have that cultist blowing on thing. That could be something related to the Balrog, considering I'm pretty sure that was shown almost immediately before the Balrog showing up in the trailer. So I feel like they must be connected.
Those cultists or the witches? Oh, sorry.
I don't think it makes sense that Balrogs would come from the sky. Like, okay, let's just like break this down canonically, which obviously they could do their own thing, but Tolkien's like latest writing, right? He said that there's no more than 7 Balrogs, ultimately, unless you're going from like his early, right? So some of them were killed in like the War of Wrath, and then you have Durin's Bane. There's maybe 1 or 2 others unaccounted for, but like essentially, like they didn't come from the sky, right? They're already on.
They came from the
on Arda,
ground.
right? It's not like Eru's not going like Balrog from the sky.
Yeah.
Melkor's not like that Balrog to the void. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're on Arda.
Yeah. So they were Maiar corrupted by Morgoth during like the creation, I'm pretty sure. But if they went like a really artistic route and wanted like to play with the idea of Sauron being able to similarly corrupt a Maiar, like I guess they could, but yeah, probably not Balrogs falling from the sky.
To go back to what I think it was Henry was saying, oh my god, I'm totally blanking on what we were talking about. The cultists and the fire. I think that's being directed at Harfoots. I think.
And do you think we'll see it this episode?
I don't know about this one. I think they're gonna, because keep in mind we've got 8 episodes, and this is gonna be 4. I want to say that we've got maybe 1 or 2 more episodes. I have a feeling that's gonna come close to around this climax will have, like, because you know how shows like to do, they like to drag this stuff out, and then those last 2 episodes are going to be so jam-packed full of stuff. I think maybe we'll see that episode 5 or 6, and then 7 and 8 will be, some more aftermath. Obviously, it's usually episode 7, the penultimate episode of a season, that we get probably the most action and this and that, and 8 will deal with resolving some of those things, or and then setting up new things. But I don't think we get that this next episode. I think maybe the next. But having said that, I'd be very happy to see them this episode.
And I think that will be one of the more interesting things. I will have to wait and see how that works out with, what do we call them? The priestesses, the cultists, the zealots.
Cultists.
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see her.
Yeah, I think Bridie Sission is really nice in person as well.
She's
I think
fantastic.
Yeah, she is. Oh, she's
absolutely
amazing.
Incredible. Yeah, loved her. I can't wait to see it, and how dark she gets. Oh
yeah.
We're getting ourselves in the treat there. So I think. So go.
Who was it who suggested that the priestesses were coming
Lindsay
from
Weber,
Roon
the
and
producer.
looking for
Wait, that's okay.
Meteor
So
Man?
the producer said they came from Roon. That's our.
Then that would lend. Okay, I was gonna say, lends credence to the idea that the Blue Wizards are. That it's
imagine.
Also, someone in the chat said, I think it was Tariq of Dal Amroth, brought up a good point. I think they're referred to as mystics, the people that we're thinking of, the cultists. I think mystics is the word I think they're going to go with, because it's on the soundtrack. So thank you in chat for that.
True.
I've got a crazy theory. What happens if Meteor Man is one of the Blue Wizards, and the Blue Wizard who is in Roon?
I was like, dude, you're a little late for that theory. But yeah, but keep going.
the Blue Wizard who's already in Middle-earth in Roon sent the mystics, these elf faithful, to see him.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like those mystics have got to be evil, unless I'm just being really judgmental based on their eyebrows. But
very evil eyebrows.
It could just be a very sexy look, but
totally, they could just be models.
Yeah.
And I'm just
maybe
being,
she's just a baddie.
But
yeah,
that was,
exactly.
Remember the quote of that I can't remember which one of you said, but looks fair but feels fouler.
Fowler, yeah. That could totally be something they're using, but I really feel like the mystics, they don't seem like they're showing up to Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like they look like they mean business. And I feel like we're going to see the Harfoots go through some stuff. I think that we're setting up. Things have been great for them. The worst thing that's happened is someone twisted an ankle. I think we're setting up, just like the Shire. Things were lovely and great, and then you leave the Shire and things get bad. So I think now that they're traveling, and we've had the hints of the wolves and stuff coming after them, we know that there's danger for them. And I feel like those mystics are going to be part of that. And I think the stranger will try to protect them, maybe. And we'll see some conflict there. Yeah, I don't think quite yet, but I think that will happen at some point in the season. Agreed.
Yeah, like the
that, like that they're not hunting. Maybe they're trying to turn him evil. Maybe they're on a mission to make him go evil, but then he's not necessarily evil. He's just, they know he's powerful, so they want to turn him, so they're chasing him, and then he tries to protect the Harfoots.
Totally.
Yeah, because then he's sort of in between good and evil, and he has to decide which side he's on.
And that actually brings up a good point. Harry, do you want to talk about that? The idea of a key?
Oh yeah, go for it.
So we had this theory, or we've been talking about this theory of this idea that the talisman around Halbrand's neck, the stranger, the mystics, and Mount Doom, all are linked in some way. That maybe the stranger and the talisman are some kind of key, and when brought together, the mystics are looking for him. Maybe even Adar is looking for the stranger as well. And that when they're brought together, it causes some catalyst that will then create Mount Doom or invite a Balrog, or who knows. But I do think the stranger is being looked for by other people. I think
Maybe
those
they
mystics.
spontaneously turn into all these rings. You know.
Dude, oh my god, that would break my heart if we don't get. I think that's been disproven that we will get a ring forging scene.
Yeah.
Because there was a forge built for the show, and so that would be
Maybe the
hilarious. Though.
forge
They all
for
just go pop,
Galadriel's
pop, and become rings.
thing.
I don't know. I didn't get the sense that the stranger is someone being sought because of his arrival.
Yeah, no,
Like
sorry.
I got the sense.
No. I was just gonna
Oh,
say
yeah,
it's
like, I
totally
got
a
the-
theory. Like nothing in the show has shown us
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah,
totally just
yeah.
a wild theory of ours.
I love a wild theory. I love a wild theory.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like well, first of all, I was doing a rewatch for this to like sort of catch myself up, and there's a nice little Easter egg when they first show the Southlands in episode 1, where the words Southland make it look like the map, and it's like like if you're really paying attention, you would notice. But I don't know why I hadn't noticed this even when they revealed it in episode 3. But she says, "Oh, it's a map of the Southlands," and it's so clearly Mount Doom. You know what I mean? And I just, there was like sort of speculation about it. I don't think it's speculation. I think for sure that mountain is Mount Doom in ends, obviously. And I think that it is very likely sooner rather than later, because we know that they need those spires to forge the One Ring, right? Sauron does. We're going to see that go boom real soon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows exactly when, but I don't think it's going to be like, it's not a season 3
And
thing,
it's going to be spectacular.
So I think
episode 6 is when that thing is going to blow up. I'll call it now. Episode 6, kaboom.
What, end of episode 6?
I would say within the last 10 minutes of episode 6, it's going to go kaboom.
Another cliffhanger then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I buy episode 6. Well, I have episode 6. I think it could be episode 7, but I buy episode 6.
Charlotte Brandstrom did say that the 6 and 7, the 2 episodes she directed, have the most action in it. So it could be either of the 2. Yeah. So you're both
Totally.
right.
I didn't know that. There we go. So that pays off some of that.
My theory around Mount Doom is end of episode 6, but it's the cliffhanger mid-eruption. And so you get a bit of the eruption, but then the eruption, and just chaos continues on into episode 7.
I could see that working. So go ahead.
No, that was
the sword that Theo has. What are our theories about the origins of that sword and how that plays into what we're talking about in terms of Mountain Go Boom and other
What happens
things
if it's
like
like
that
a key that physically makes it happen? Imagine that. That's the only real thing I can think about that. Except of course being a key.
Are we super frozen right now, or does it just look like it?
Yeah, it's been like that today because of the internet's been because of the stream thing. But
okay, I think it's the program that we're using. We've been struggling with this program for the whole time. We've never had any trouble with Discord.
Yeah, but I think they can hear us though. So, I think we've come back to the sword a few times now. So, Greg, do you think it's a key to something?
I think it has history. I think in Sauron's hands that sword has power. And I think I don't know if I would say it's like a physical key, but I think that it's maybe not dissimilar to the ring. Obviously not at the same level of strength, but not dissimilar in that it has some of the will and the power
of
Sauron in it. And I think I guess
Yeah. I love the idea of the sword being able to corrupt as well. We see Theo; he's a bit of an angry boy. He's not a big fan of mice, or floorboards. He doesn't like floorboards either.
And I think this. I think we see this later in Lord of the Rings in the form of like the Morgul blade and everything, the Nazgul blade, and like I think this is sort of thematically a predecessor.
I love that theory.
What happens if the shed that it was found in, the sword, is in fact Halbrand's old shed when he used to live there?
Right, because he's got like
that
there's a pretty
workshop.
high chance he's Theo's baby daddy, right? Like there's also that.
Yeah.
Do you think? Oh yeah, this is another quite fun thing. Do you think we'll get more hints in the next episode around Halbrand, like on the nose stuff that we got in the last?
I think potentially. Yeah, I just think potentially, but I don't know whether it'd be like the kind of on the nose where if you look back, it's like, oh, it's so obvious. I just think it'd be like subtle hints to make you lean one way, but it might be even like again misdirection because they seem to like that in this show.
I think it's interesting that we have no confirmation that Theo has ever met his dad. Like they never say he left you at birth or he left before you were born. So for all we know, he fully knows who his dad is, So that's something I'm very interested in because it leaves it open to anything. I really hope, and I've seen this theory online, and I really hope it's not the case. I really hope he's not an Anakin Immaculate Conception thing that someone was saying.
I didn't.
Oh man, I saw it on Twitter, and I immediately was like, look, it's been done before, and maybe if it's done really well, it'd be great. But that bummed me out. I would be like,
yeah,
he's Sauron's child.
I'm all for procreation in the traditional sense, No, that's not it. But
what about the theory?
it'd be too much.
What about the theory that we haven't seen his ears yet because of the bowl haircut, and maybe in a village full of elf haters, he might be a little one himself. Well, not a little elf helper, but a little one.
To cover the tips of his ears.
If Arondir and Bronwyn slept together and he's never said "I love you," not cool, dude. I don't care if you said it 100 different ways except for in words. You need to say that if you're a dad.
He's a coward.
And then that's the theory. Then, if Halbrand might be Theo's father, then he might have elven ears. How does that work out? So much happening. So many. It's like 1 + 1 = 4 at the minute. That's what like something's.
We're all like that. It's always sunny screenshot of like Charlie Day with the red string. We're like, it's all connected.
We totally are that right now.
Like, I've connected the dots. Like you haven't connected them. I've connected them.
Yeah.
Saw one person in chat saying the line, "You have been told many lies about Middle Earth." Do you think Adar is going to say it this episode?
Oh, I hope so. I hope he does because that's such a. I want to know who he's telling that to, and maybe Arondir, which is why he lets him go, being like, you think I'm evil, you think I'm bad, but like you have no idea what's going on. But go ahead, run off. But then it also kind of wouldn't track with he's like, why did you enslave me and my buddies? Or if he's like, there was a miscommunication. These orcs, they're good, but they're not. I'm not working with the top brass here. So maybe it was he's like, I didn't tell them to capture you, but yeah. I don't know.
Like, whoops! It was meant to be humans only. Whoops.
Yeah, he's like, I know. He's like, I should have been more clear in the instructions. To be fair, he's like, the Orcish language it's new to me.
Yeah.
As someone in the chat mentions the idea of the forge at Eregion spring deadline might be demands from Anatar. I'm kind of wondering. I mean, like we just saw Halbrand's on the boat, right? What if he's already been in Eregion and he's on the boat to play like a little, you know what I mean? And when he goes, like,
interesting.
What if he's already been there? And that's maybe the deal is he's trying to get back to the Southlands by spring with more, some support from Numenor or whatever. Or he's, I don't know. Maybe I'm speculating too far there. But
say it again. You're saying that Halbrand's trying to get back to the Southlands?
If Halbrand is Sauron, we found him floating on this raft on this boat. And he just came from the Southlands. Who's to say he hasn't been in Eregion, already there, maybe
Yeah,
there's-
that he's already met up with
Mhm.
Celebrimbor. He's already touched base.
Back in,
Wow.
Celebrimbor's like, Anatar, how's it
Oh.
going? And,
Yeah.
and,
Wouldn't that? But
Wow.
didn't he say on the raft when she's like, "I need to get back to Middle Earth," and he's like, "I'm in no hurry to go back there," and he also seemed pretty wanting to stay in Numenor. But I would love if he is Sauron. I would love that if he and Celebrimbor see each other, that Celebrimbor knows him and like that. I love that idea of a reveal like that. Would be so cool.
That's the reveal. Yeah.
Mm.
Holy shit.
That's a good reveal.
I think he's got to take a different form, though, right? He's got to
Yeah,
be.
he must do.
He couldn't have come unless his other reveal is he just sprouts some pointy ears and he's like, there we go.
He just
And
starts,
suddenly he's showered and shaved. Like that's
yeah,
his
and
transformation.
he just starts glowing.
Yeah. But because the JD and Patrick said in an interview, because I think someone correct me if I'm wrong if this didn't happen, but I thought I saw this, that someone had asked them directly, like, hey, will we see sexy Sauron in your show? And they said, look, if he's not the sexiest person on screen, we haven't done our job. And they've been setting Halbrand up.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I'm married to my wife and I love her, but he's pretty sexy, dude.
Yeah.
Charlie Vickers is a smooth dude.
Listen,
So the showrunners said, said that obviously if he's not the sexiest character on the stream, then yeah, we have failed. Like I remember those specific
Wait,
words.
no, you said sexiest character on the stream.
On the
Hmm.
stream.
Oh.
On the stream.
That's
Greg. We already have that here. That's Greg. But and Greg, unless you want to tell us your Sauron.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So but it's either Halbrand or the barkeep in the Southlands. Those are the two sexiest people in the show. So that's it.
I think
Oh, dude.
I think he's the
Elendil,
sexiest in the show.
yes.
Clearly,
And-
he is Sauron.
And
about-
honestly,
Elendil,
Emma
absolutely.
is beautiful. Like,
What
when I
about-
look at her, I'm just like,
what
Emma,
about-
you are so cute. It breaks my heart that she
What
ends
ab-
up being evil.
What about Jed Brophy's orc Vrath as a sexiest character?
it's done. We
You
cracked the
think-
code.
Yeah.
It's him.
I
It's him.
I
y'all.
think that
Who did it?
Sauron had better skincare regimen
Yeah.
than that guy does. But maybe I'm wrong.
Mhm. But I think finally, I think this has gone from an episode 4 predict theories to like a
The rest of
entire show.
We're
Yeah.
just so
Not-
excited. We're just so excited to
exactly.
be all happy and together and talking about
Mhm,
this.
yeah.
So
I'm saying I love it
Yeah.
for that. So I think, Frederick, I'll go to you finally. Do you think that we will see by the end of episode 4 the beginning of the Numenorian Armada wanting to go to Middle Earth?
So hard to say. I would say it's a bit early. I think they would establish some more intrigues in Numenor first.
To be fair, that shot we saw of Miriel and Galadriel up there on the throne room looks like they're trying to persuade something, and then the
Oh.
map one looks like Galadriel saying we need to go there. So I think
Take
there
me
are
there,
some-
please.
Yeah, take me there. So
Call an
you
Uber.
never know.
Uber.
Mhm.
Brett.
So, but I think that is where we will hold it for today. But next week, we'll of course Nikki, as you said, will be on Discord, so we won't be a still frame for about 90 minutes. But I want to say still, thank you for I can't believe we hit like 96 viewers when just for one, just all just
guys
us
are
like
awesome.
yeah
Yeah, this
us
is
just
awesome.
as-
Thanks for having us here.
Yeah.
one by
Great.
one boxes. And we massively apologize for that, for this. It will be fixed for the Sunday show and for next week's stream, which I'm hoping everybody here will be back for, hopefully.
Yes,
I'm in.
of course.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
guys will have me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Doing a live watch party this Friday.
No, not this Friday. No live watch party this Friday. So
That's all right.
I think first of all, I want to thank Frederick. Thank you, my man, for coming on.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Thank you as always. And Nikki, thank you.
Always fun. Loving it.
Parliament in your natural habitat. Thank you.
Till the next time.
Yep. Chase, first time on. I think
Thank you for having me, guys.
yeah, lots of theories from you, and I think that is absolutely great. I think joining you in your first time with Anna Maria. I think again lots of theories. I really like the Balrog one, so we'll have to wait and see on that. So thank you.
Thank y'all for having me.
It's been a pleasure. And of course, last but not least, not frozen this time, Gregory.
Thawed
Hey,
Greg.
Honestly, one of my highlights of
Yeah.
the week being here.
Indeed,
Oh, yeah.
indeed.
Every
And
week.
I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will next week you'll be able to see all our lovely, beautiful faces and in 1080p motion. But I think Chase, you said you would not like that, would you?
No. I look best blurry. That is it.
Yeah.
Kind
Best
of hides all the
480p.
other problems. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
But despite
I
that,
agree,
you will see us
100%. Just
in.
blur.
You will see us next week. So I want to thank you all. It's been a great discussion, and I think until the next one. Bye.
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 Oops.